Alright, we are up to making the eye. I have already made one, so I have one left to make. So I put together, it's a three-dimensional eye. It's not made like a normal one, but it's very creative and very neat. You have the center, which is one piece, the brown part. Then you have the ruffled piece, which is another part, and then you have the outside piece, which is another part. So if you're looking at the pattern, you see that the eye is a three-piece part, and then you will connect them all, and then you will sew them onto your basket. So the first part that you will do is called it starts out with the owl face. It's called the outer eye. So I'm going to set this aside. This is the part that we're going to do first. So you're going to get your yarn, and I'm working with my silver. It's almost white, but it is just a tad bit silver. So you're still using your J hook, and I'll zoom in just a tad bit for you. So the first thing it says to do is you're going to chain 3. Okay, and then you'll join. Okay, make sure you find and weasel that little hole there, like you always have to do when you're working it around. Now, what it tells you to do is go back, and you're going to work this the same as rounds 1 and 2 of your container, which means of your basket. You want to go back up and work it as rounds 1 and 2. So when you scroll back up, you'll go to round 1, and where it tells you to work round 1 of your basket, you will chain 3. Alright, and then it tells you that counts as your first double crochet, so okay, and then it tells you to put 11 double crochet in the circle or in your ring. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and working over your tail, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So you will basically have 12 again, because that chain 3 that we did is the actual first one. So that is 12. So you want to join up right here, pull your tail so you can close up that circle a bit. So now you have your beginning circle. Alright, so now round 2 of the container part says to chain 3. Alright, so now we're going to work this round also. So it says put another double crochet into that beginning space. So now we're working an increase round. So you're going to put 2 double crochet in each double crochet around. So you're just increasing in every stitch. Okay, so basically you started off with 12 double crochet in the first round. You will finish off this round with 24. 12 doubled is 24 if you do the math. So you'll work all the way around, and then you will join up into the top of the chain 3 that we started off with. Okay, so just go all the way around, join up, and I will meet you back for the next part of the eye. So now we have joined back up. Now you want to go back down to where you're working the outer part of the eye, the instructions for that. So go back from the container instructions back down to the outer eye instructions to round 3. So round 3, you want to chain up 3. Okay, now you're working in front posts, double crochets again. Okay, so around the same stitch as the join, you're going to do a front post double crochet. So what you want to do is you want to do your front post double crochet. So go around the back of that and complete a front post double crochet. Now in that next stitch, the next double crochet, you want to just do a double crochet into the top of that. Very simple. Okay, now in that same stitch, the same one you just double crocheted into, you're going to do a front post double crochet around it as well. So it's basically going to give you an X look or a crisscross look if you kind of look at it the further along you get. So now the next stitch right here, the next double crochet, gets a double crochet in the top. Okay, and in the same stitch, if you spread that apart, you see the post. You're just going to do a front post double crochet around the same post. So technically you're working in the top of the stitch and then you're working around the post of the same stitch. Okay, so post or in the stitch you're going to work a double crochet and then you're going to work around the post, front post double crochet. Okay, and if you look at it, it kind of looks a little bit like a crisscross. So it gives it a kind of like a 3D texture look. Okay, so you're just going to do this all the way around. So just remember, don't skip any stitch at all. So you're doing a double crochet in the top and then a front post double crochet around the post in each stitch, so nothing is left out. Alright, so just go all the way around and you will slip stitch in the beginning of the chain that we started with. You will have a total of 48 stitches, and I will meet you back at the end and we'll join up together. Alright guys, we are just finishing up here with the outer part of the eye. So let's make sure we go around the post of that very last one. Alright, you want to join up in the top of that chain 3 here. And that's the outer part of your eye. We'll finish off. And then we'll pull through and through and we will work those tails in here in a bit. Now the next part of the eye is the inner eye ruffle. And that's the part we will be focusing on this time. So now what we will be doing, joining that same color, whichever color you have chosen, you will be chaining 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, you will join that up and we will make a, that didn't work out well. Let me redo that one. Keep yours there. Let me redo that one. That one didn't turn out too well there. I'm one of those crocheters. If I make one mistake, I gotta take it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, let's join that up. So you're gonna have your big ring here. Okay? So now what you're going to do is you're going to chain 1. And working over this tail, you're going to do 18 single crochet in the ring. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and you may have to scooch a bit. Make sure you're working over that tail. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Alright, then what you're going to do is join into that first single crochet, and you can go ahead and take that tail off of there if you want. Alright, so then your next step, round 2, is you're going to do 3 single crochet into the next single crochet. So put 3 singles into that next one. and this is going to give you a ruffle effect. And then in the next single crochet you will do a slip stitch. So you'll repeat that all the way around. So 3 single crochet in the next, then a slip stitch in the next, 3 single crochet in the next, slip stitch in the next. Okay, so you'll do that all the way around for this inner part of the ruffled eye, and I will meet you back up at the end. Alright guys, we are at the end. So now to finish this up, you are just going to slip stitch into that first single crochet of the 3 we started with. So you're just going to slip stitch there, and you're just going to finish that off. Pull that through and through, and you're done with the inner part of the eye. Okay, now the next part is the actual eyeball, and we are going to use brown for that. So now all you're doing for that is making a simple slip knot with a chain 2. Okay, and then you're going to go into the first stitch, and you're going to do 6 single crochet into that beginning stitch. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alright, and it doesn't say you have to join, but I find it just a tad bit easier. So I'm just going to join up there, and then I'm going to do me a chain 1, and then you're just going to go around and put 1 stitch in each one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and then all you will do then is just kind of join up, pull it, and then you will leave enough to join your eyeball around. You'll pull that through there, and that's pretty much your eye. And you can cut that tail off if you want. You only need this one to sew it around, and that's going to be your eyeball. So now all that we have to do now is just start to assemble this, and I will be right back and we will start. Alright guys, so grab your needle and thread your tail end from your eye, and all you're just basically going to do is center that into your ruffled inner eye. And let's see if I can get you a little closer here. So all I did is, what I'm doing is just going to connect it to this ring here, and I'm just going to go in to the stitches that are here, and then I'm just going to go into some of the stitches on the ring, and then I'm just going to pull through, and then I'm going to skip a couple, and then just go into the loops there that are on the ring, and just keep centering it. It works out just perfect. And using the brown, you know, you can pretty much stick your needle anywhere on the eye there on the outer ring, and it works out just fine. I think I've got a little bit too fat of a needle that I'm working with, but it's all I had up here. So you just keep working it till you've gone all the way around. Make sure you get it into a couple of those loops. And it just kind of meshes really well. You know, it only takes maybe 8 stitches to go around. That's about it. Okay? And then what I did is I just took my needle and just stuck it in the back. And you can just take it in a couple of the layers in the back like this, pull it through, and then just leave you a little loop up there, stick it back through. Well, you don't have to have your needle to do that, but and then you just make a knot just like that. And you can just cut it off. All this is going to be hid anyway, so it really doesn't matter what it really looks like back there. So then there you have your center part done. And then what you'll be doing here is you're going to basically do the same thing. You're going to connect this part, and you will take and sometimes I leave enough to weave in. Sometimes I just would prefer to cut my own, which is what I did here. I didn't leave a tail to do it. I wanted to cut my own to do it with this time. Sometimes it just makes it easier to be able to make sure you have enough. Okay, so now you're just going to center this up. Let's back this up because it's a bigger piece. So you're just going to center it. And the way I did this one is I didn't sew down all of it. I wanted to kind of give it a little bit of a 3D effect to where some of the ruffles were going to stick up. So I just kind of it was a hit and miss game. So I started from the back. Okay. And left a little bit of a tail back there so I could tie it off if I felt like doing that. And then I would just jump a little bit. So you see the space that I'm leaving here? I just kind of jumped a bit and grabbed up some of the strands back here, and then I would come up and leave about that much of a gap. That way this point would stick up a bit. That way it'd give it a little bit of a 3D effect. Okay? And then I would just kind of do the same thing here, but make sure you're grabbing some of these back here, some of these loops, or it's not going to stay. And then I would just jump over here, leaving the same amount. Okay, and I would do the same thing again. And then that way it gives you sort of a 3D effect. And you see how these corners kind of peek up at you. But just keep continuing to center it, because it might go off center a little bit on you while you're trying to worry about your peaks. Okay. Just keep working until you have it all sewn in. Just keep centering it. And this has been a very cute project. I'm very happy with the outcome of it. It looks fall-like, so. Okay, so we are back at the beginning. So what I'm just going to do is stick this all the way through to the back. And what I'm going to do is just kind of inch my way through some of these loops all the way back to where you see the point that I left that tail. Okay, so what I'll do is cut about down to where the other tail is there, so that I can tie this off and secure that a little bit. Don't tie it too tight. You don't want the front of it to scrunch up. Okay, and I triple tied that. So I'll get me a smaller hook here so that I can weave that kind of in and hide it. And just a little bit. You don't have to do a whole lot to hide that, because it's already secured. Pull it through and through, like I say, because all this is going to be hid once you start assembling. Okay, so here are our two eyes, which I haven't cut that yet. So now what we have to do is make our beak, and I will be back with you to do that.